Welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to take a quick look at my favorite company in my favorite industry, and that's going to be Nvidia. The company just recently did a keynote where they announced a lot of great new products. So we're going to do a quick overview of all these products and why I am super excited as an investor. If this is your first time here, make sure to hit the thumbs up. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, check out the pinned comment for free Discord, free newsletter, and a lot of great investing links. So let's get started. Right off the bat, I just want to kind of take a quick look at Nvidia's stock price for the day. Right now, it is up 4.3%, very strong returns. We can see year to date, the stock is down about 11.25%, but in the past 52 weeks, the stock has returned over 111%. So one thing for Nvidia, right, even though I am a big Nvidia bull, I do want to say to some extent this stock is priced to perfection. So what does that mean? That means I do believe if there's any short-term weakness in this, in anything that might happen in the semiconductor industry, with any of the products Nvidia does, there could be huge hits to the stock price. At the same time, I do believe in the long term of things, Nvidia will be a bigger company in 5 years compared to where it's at right now. Like I mentioned, Nvidia recently did their GTC keynote. So many new products came out that it's actually taken me quite a while to kind of produce this video. And one of the main topics there was artificial intelligence. Jensen, the CEO, mentioned that artificial intelligence is kind of just entering stage 2, where stage 1 was pretty much just AI learning things and kind of showcasing what it's learned. If it might be able to showcase what type of video you might want to watch next, what type of product you might want to buy. The second stage of artificial intelligence is more robotic action, or AI in action. So here we're taking a quick look at robotics kind of growing in e-commerce, in delivery system, autonomous vehicles, for example, digital robots, physical robots, and so much more. And this is where the overall company sees multiple year growth. And this is where they're focusing a lot of their technology in. All right, so let's start off with this quick presentation that I have set up for today's episode. And one of my favorite things about Nvidia is they give their chips a purpose, right? Normally, Nvidia back then was seen as a hardware company. Now they're also a software company. They build platforms and they build application frameworks. So they give their chips a purpose. Maybe you might be a customer here in the high end, but because you are a customer here in the high end, you somehow trickle down and use other Nvidia solutions and pay the company some money. So one of the biggest announcements was their new Hopper architecture. So this Hopper architecture is what the new server GPUs will be built upon. They also announced a new server GPU, which is going to be the H100, and this is going to be built on TSMC's 4N process. This is a huge leap from the current architecture that they have, which is Ampere. We can see the A100 was the previous GPU generation for servers, and you can see the overall growth here. The other thing that comes with it when they build a new GPU architect and new products like this come out with the new GPU. For example, they did announce the AGX H100. This is pretty much like a mini server you can purchase from Nvidia or their OEM partners to kind of start working on that artificial intelligence training, artificial intelligence learning, and so much more. So they announced the AGX H100. They also announced a SuperPod version of it where it's just multiple servers linked up, and these are probably usually used for like the high data center providers. They usually buy a lot of these, or a lot of big enterprise companies that need to do a lot of artificial intelligence training. For example, let's say you are an autonomous vehicle company and you need to collect all that data and kind of process all the data and teach your algorithm with all that data. You're going to need supercomputers like this. Not only that, Nvidia also announced EOS, which is expected to be the fastest supercomputer in the world. So again, just having new products with this new GPU brings up new solutions that Nvidia can sell. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and keep listening for this great offer we have for the community. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. You all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investments. So I'm proud to partner with the Motley Fool to bring you a discount for one of my favorite services the Fool offers, the Motley Fool Stock Advisor. Go to fool.com/Jose to sign up and get access to a ton of expert stock picks. Every month you'll get 2 new picks that are aimed at growing your wealth and to help you realize your financial goals. Stock Advisor has been a market-beating service, so what are you waiting for? Thanks again for the Motley Fool. Now on to today's points. The final one with this GPU is one that's pretty interesting. It's called the H100CNX, and this is a GPU connected directly to the network. So normally how it goes is data comes in from the network. Usually it goes to the CPU, and then from the CPU, it goes to the other chips like the GPU, right? The most important thing for providers is performance. One way to increase performance is to reduce the amount of kind of processing that a CPU needs to do. And Nvidia created this H100CNX where instead of going from network CPU to GPU, it can go from network straight to the GPU, which will overall help with performance in these data centers. All right, so we just talked about Nvidia's GPUs. I think all the products announced here are super great. You can see the overall technological innovation that this company proceeds. But what I'm super excited is what we're gonna see next, and that is the upcoming CPUs that Nvidia is making. And this is gonna be the first step into the server CPU, and that is all gonna be with Grace. And Grace comes out with this super chip. So we can take a quick look here back at the slideshow. This is going to be a monster CPU. Grace is still expected for next year, 2023, and this is going to use Nvidia's chip-to-chip interconnect, which is called NVLink. And we're going to talk about NVLink in a bit, but they're kind of putting two chips together and allowing them to talk with each other with this interconnect. And this is going to allow for numerous configurations. For example, here we have Nvidia's CPU, Grace right here, where we also have Nvidia's GPU, the Hopper. So this is the Grace Hopper super chip. But maybe you might just want to have a super CPU chip. So they have the Grace CPU super chip, where you have two Grace's CPUs in one chip. Now I want to talk a little bit more about this NVLink, this interconnect that's chip to chip. So we've seen Nvidia use it to kind of communicate, for example, their CPU with their GPUs. Nvidia also makes other types of chips, for example, DPUs, and they can work with it. The most, I want to say, important or the coolest thing is now they're allowing this NVLink to be available to customers. So if you are a customer, or let's say you are a chip provider that makes other types of chips outside of CPUs, outside of GPUs, or any of the other ones that Nvidia makes, you can now kind of connect or kind of have this interconnect with your chip and some of the best technology out there in the CPU market, in the GPU market. And I think that's going to lead a lot of companies to kind of come into their platform and get somehow locked in to their platform, where they will be constantly using Nvidia's products because they make it so easy to kind of interconnect with some of these other chips. So I think that is a big move and something that could drive some really big customers back to Nvidia. All right, so we've seen a lot of the new chips that Nvidia has made, and like I mentioned, one of my favorite things about this company and why and during every buyback, every pullback, I just want to buy more and more, is Nvidia has become more of a software company. And this is probably the most important move because they have created solutions that people did not know they needed. And now that they created these solutions, companies know that they need it, and they go and purchase more and more products from Nvidia. So for example, they've created the Omniverse, right? We can go back here on the slide. The Omniverse can be used for numerous solutions for customers: factory planning, digital twins, being a digital human training, a robot gym for let's say you're trying to train robots, and the easiest way is to kind of train them online. So the Omniverse allows that to happen. And so they created this software solution called the Omniverse. But now, let's say you are kind of a robot company and you are using NVIDIA's software solutions. NVIDIA now kind of sells you some form of hardware or infrastructure so you can make that training even faster. For example, for customers that use their Omniverse, they recommend you purchase the OVX server, which is just like a mini server that can help you during the training of your robots and can make that a lot easier. They've also kind of created the OVX SuperPod. Maybe you're a huge automobile company or a huge robotics company and need like super amount of processing power, and you're already using NVIDIA's Omniverse. Here, kind of take a quick look at our SuperPod in the healthcare. It's another example, right? They have Clara in the healthcare. So again, they created software solutions for the healthcare industry with Clara. Now they're kind of creating hardware opportunities for this, and this is going to be Nvidia's Clara Holoscan MGX medical grade platform, which is going to be in early access of 2023. Next, I want to take a quick look at two of my favorite markets in the artificial intelligence, and this is robotics and autonomous vehicles. For example, robotics, like we kind of looked at in the past, has huge growth opportunities from things like delivery systems, distribution centers, drones, farming, digital avatars for fast food, and even like the hospitality places like hospitals, hotels, and so much more. In the autonomous vehicle, for example, Orin, which is the chip that they've used for that drive system, is shipping out already, and it will be used in 2024 by some Mercedes cars and in 2025 by mostly all of Jaguar's vehicles. So this automobile industry is a very small portion of Nvidia's revenue right now, but I do believe in the next 5 years this will be a huge leader for the company. Back to the presentation, we can see in the robotics they have created Isaac, for example. This is the software solution for robotics, and it is powered by Nvidia's Orin drive. We can see they have the software solutions, but then you can kind of purchase those other supercomputers or servers that we've mentioned in the past. Now I want to take a quick look at the autonomous vehicle with NVIDIA Drive. This, like I mentioned, a huge market opportunity. AV Drive, for example, they just announced a customer during GTC, which is BYD. I think they are the second largest EV kind of producer in the world, and they have chosen NVIDIA Drive to be their solutions for autonomous vehicles and smart vehicles. They also announced a lot of new products. For example, Hyperion 9. Hyperion 9 is the one-stop solution. This is if you are a car company, if you need your sensors, if you need cameras, if you need the processing power, Hyperion 9 is that one-stop shop. And they just announced Hyperion 9, which comes with the new chip, Atlan, and that is expected to be in 2026 cars. So overall, there was a lot to unpack. There was even more in GTC, but I do believe these are my favorite kind of tools that they announced, and it just shows the strength of this company. This is just looking at this, it just reaffirms me that this is definitely one of those companies I have no intentions of selling anytime soon, and during any downturns it should be a great opportunity to kind of dollar cost average. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Take care, have a good day, and see you next time.